to be here, and I'm excited about the opportunity to share why I am running, give you a little bit of background on who I am. So I was born and raised here in Steuben County. I actually went to Pleasant Lake Elementary as well, and I then went to Prairie Heights for middle school and high school, graduated in 1995. I have a history of being a small business owner, but also working for small businesses. I've worked for the state. I've worked for a global corporation, so I've had a lot of experience. I've been involved in a lot of things in the community. I've started several community initiatives. I've been with, started the Steuben Teen Age Republicans, so collaborated with some people in this room to make that happen. Love being able to connect with people and grow things and build things. I also helped with, or I was one of the founding members of the Steuben Republican Women's group. So I was glad to start that. I also started the Vote Steuben, where I was able to interview different candidates and help the public get to know who was a candidate, why they were running, give them opportunities to then do more research on their own, which I really appreciate all the candidates and elected officials that came and spoke with me so that people could get to know who you are and then share the different information that you have, whether it was a website or social media, whatever you had, because it's important for people to be involved. And that was my main initiative with that, is to get more people involved, get them informed and engaged in the process, give people a voice. And that is one of the reasons why I am running, is because I want to make sure that people have a voice. And the reason why that is because I don't feel like I was given a voice in this last piece of legislation with HB 1038. I sat and talked with people that were involved with it, and I was cut off, I was dismissed. I feel like the information that has been shared has not been accurate. There has not been transparency. There has not been an impact study that's done. Anything that involves a major decision should involve the community early on. They should be able to ask questions, not have to write them, not have to be an afterthought, not have to wait till it's a referendum item on a budget or on a ballot. It should be something that people can engage and ask questions, tough questions, and have real data that supports it. Again, not to be dismissed. Okay, there we go. So, with that, I want to make sure that people understand that I'm going to put the community first. I'm going to be transparent. I'm going to be accountable. You're not going to have to wait to get information from me. I'm going to make sure that you have access to them early on and continuously. I'm not going to play favorites. I like it when people challenge me. I have friends that challenge me, and I appreciate that. I've communicated that with them, that I like when they ask me questions that make me think outside of what I normally, my perspective, and help me to understand how I can address things more clearly. So, one of the things that I want to make sure that people understand is that I am pro-family, I'm pro-God, I'm pro-life, I'm pro-Second Amendment. I will fight for people's life, liberty, and property. I know that people have been struggling with their utility bills. I will not be taking money from special interests and lobbyists. And then, because the whole purpose of that is to influence your vote. And when you see that your elected official is voting in favor of utility companies instead of protecting you, that's something that should make you concerned. You put your trust in them. You vote for them. You expect them to think about you and your best interest. And when they don't do that and they come up with excuses, it's disappointing. It's very disappointing. And so I will make sure that I stand for you. Also property taxes. I know that's another thing that people have been challenged with. The way that it's valued. Somebody that has had property for generations should not be forced off because they can't afford to pay those property taxes. I'm going to be fighting for the people that have property and for reform for those property taxes. No one should lose their property. Something that has been paid for clear and free should never be taken away from someone. My background has been in engineering and in business. Civil engineering and the fact that I have planned and designed things. I've worked with the state. I understand how infrastructure works and why it's important to make sure that you have the capacity to move forward. I don't think those questions are being asked. And the planning is subpar before actions have been taken and people are moving forward with things. I do want to share one story because I have talked to a lot of people since I started being more vocal and since I decided to run. There have been people that have reached out to me, and there's one in particular that I want to point to today. So Ashley Oliver here, she has come this morning, and she shared her testimony with me. She grew up in a family. She thought it was normal. It was a normal family. Everything was wonderful. And then one day she came home, and she found out she was homeless. She found out she was homeless because her dad had a gambling addiction. No one should ever come home to find out they're homeless. No one should ever have that experience. I'm going to fight to protect people that have those vulnerabilities. And it may not affect the majority of you, but it does affect people. And we need to protect our community and not say, well, it's unfortunate that they have that problem. They should just deal with it. A community loves each other. A community protects each other. And that's what I want to do. I don't want to take money from special interests. I want to be supported by the community because I want to support them. My name is Teresa Steele. I'm running for state representative of District 51, and I hope I have your vote. Any questions? Yes. Hi.
I have a two-part question. Number one, do you support Donald Trump?
Yes, I do.
Did you know he was granted one of the first casino licenses in the state of Indiana?
And your point is?
I'm not here to take questions. I'm just asking if you were aware of that.
Just because I vote for somebody doesn't mean I'm going to support everything that they do.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, Christine.
So you talk about property taxes,
Yes.
which is the primary funding for local government, which supports our public safety and all of our things, right, here locally. So if you want to go away from property tax, what is your idea for how to still support public safety, how is local government supposed to still exist and provide the services that everyone expects every day?
Well, one, I didn't say I wanted to completely do away with property tax.
We took one of our largest hits with SB1 already, and you're talking about still standing up and talking about cutting property tax. So I'm just curious, we're right now trying to figure out how to just stay revenue neutral after the last cut of property tax, and you're talking about more. So how do we as local officials make that happen if you continue to cut that piece?
I would take a look at your budget. I would take a look at the programs that you support. I don't believe that we need to have all those programs. I do think that sometimes government gets involved in things that they don't need to get involved in. They need to remove themselves, and they need to give people their money back and let them decide what's important.
Can you give me an example of where county council gives money to an interest that you don't think we should?
I know that there has been money given to public organizations or nonprofit organizations, and that money should be voluntarily decided.
Even if it is a not-for-profit that takes a job that the government doesn't want to take on, like the animal shelter.
I believe that people should decide how to spend their money. They should decide what's important.